focused on supply chains.
So how specialized do you get? For example, like there are like specialty chemicals, like energy. There is different type of more complex, like medical equipment and so forth. How easy is for you to use your existing infrastructure or that you have, and say somebody says we want to have this very specialty chemicals. Is it possible for you to do that? What kind of infrastructure or development do you need to do for a new customer who wants something very specialized?
Right. So no, we can't do everything for everybody.
Yes, exactly.
So we're organized by industry verticals. So we have automotive is about a quarter of our supply chain business. Consumer packaged goods. I think about food type companies, ConAgra, Kellogg's, those types of. We run operations for them. We have a retail business where we do more retail type customers, and then we have an industrials business where, think about a company like Carrier Conditionings, we do logistics for them. If it's a new, like we don't have a chemicals.
Exactly.
So it's very hard for us to say all of a sudden now we're going to be experts in chemicals. If we wanted to get into chemicals, we'd probably go out and try to find a company that's already in chemicals and acquire them and bring them into the fold of Ryder.
I see. Okay. No, because basically that's kind of moving into one vertical to another requires some more expertise, and so you're doing it through acquisitions.
You really, it's very, like we were able to go from automotive to industrial because the supply chains aren't that different. You know, it's kind of the assembly of stuff. But when the supply chain becomes different, like in food, we had tried to get into food logistics. We didn't have a food customer, so you go try to sell to Kellogg's, and they want to see a customer. You take them to General Motors. And they're like, well, what's this about? So we bought a company probably like 13, 14 years ago where they're focused on food logistics. And we became a big part of our business. We were able to grow it and now have an expertise in that area.
Excellent, yes. So you mentioned the COVID times, and of course kind of the supply chain disruptions made transportation, logistics, supply chain very famous. So now it's kind of getting into the more of a kind of steadier state, and how do you see the future of supply chains?
Yeah, so our business for a long time had been just about efficiencies inside of a warehouse, or we'd go in and we had a customer who has a private fleet. They might have 80 trucks. We go in there, we redesign it. We can do it with 70, and we know how to hire truck drivers. We have a big driver pool, so we're able to do it more efficiently than a company can do on their own. That's still important, but what's changed over the last several years is really the focus on technology. And we had historically used technology we buy off the shelf, run a warehouse, to run transportation networks. But more and more what we've realized is that technology now has to become a differentiator, something that's going to differentiate us from what a competitor can do. So we've gotten much more into building our own software, not for everything. I don't need to build software to run a warehouse, but I need to build software to give my customer visibility as to what is going on with their supply chain. So we've been making a lot more investments in those areas. I mentioned earlier we acquired a startup in Silicon Valley of a group of 5. I say we bought 5 guys, because we bought 5 people who were engineers from Stanford, MIT, and they were writing some software to optimize transportation for trucking companies. So to find ways to utilize everything inside the truck. And we really invested in them through our venture capital fund. We thought smart people, wasn't sure that problem they were trying to solve that was going to really solve it, but we felt these guys can really help us at Ryder with all the freight we have visibility to and all these customers. So we bought that company, and now they're our technology lab, and they're writing software for us. And an example of what they'll do is, you think about CVS, those deliveries. Well, at some point, that CVS truck's going to be empty. And historically, I've just driven it empty. And if I can find a load, it's great, but I don't have a technology to help me coordinate all that. So now with this technology, I can, if that truck's going to go back to Orlando empty, I can see what True Value or many of our other customers that may be moving product, looking to move product from Miami to Orlando. How can I double utilize that driver and double utilize that equipment? So it's software that's helping facilitate that optimization across our accounts.